And we're live. And we're live. I've got to apologise for any confusion that the screenshot may have caused. It was an ill-timed joke of mine that is ultimately directed at BRIT Girl, because clearly, as far as YouTube's concerned, there's an element of toxicity when it comes to our BRIT Girl, but we all love her. And we thought we'd get together tonight to have a little chat over a few different subjects. So hi, everybody. How are we doing? Hope we're doing well. So there's no confusion, guys. We are online. So far, so good. I don't think anything's due to happen just yet, but as ever, you know what it's like. It does seem to be the season for people being deleted, I do believe. So this is Red Pill Phil on YouTube. Hi, and thank you to everyone jumping on. And if you're watching it retrospectively, a big hi and thumbs up to you as well. Guest, special guest, the one and only, Britius Girlius.
Impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
Oh, goddamn hacker, that second time night that asshole's cut in.
Yes, BRIT Girl. How are you doing?
Good evening. Hey, good evening. How is everyone?
Get back into the comment section here.
Yeah, I'm actually on them tonight for once. I can actually see the comments for a change.
Can you see them? That's good.
Yeah.
You might not want to yet. You never know how it all goes.
I know.
Right. Who's jumped on? The usual suspects. Low Tracer. How we doing? Elizabeth. Hi there.
Top Cat.
Oh, like a rehab facility in here. Rehab from what? What are we all rehabbing from? The nasty dark energies that we're all exposed to as soon as you flip your laptop up, hey, BRIT Girl.
I know. It's everywhere, isn't it?
It is.
I've joined this Telegram group. I'm going to just quickly mention it. And it's this lady who's exposing vaccine centres. She's going round and secretly recording her. She's got a list of questions that she wants to ask about the vaccine. Is it still in its trial phase? And the blatant lies that they are telling people about this vaccine, saying that it's completely approved, it's in fourth stage trial, which we know to be a load of crap, because there is no fourth stage of a trial. They're saying that there's been 0 deaths, no reported adverse effects. They're blatantly outright lying. And it's a Telegram group, and everyone should join it, because what she's asking people to do is go to their local vaccine centres along with this list of questions and speak to the doctors. And ask them the list of questions and just see how stumped they are by it, because it's just ridiculous. And it's called Exposing Vaccine COVID Vaccine Centres, the Telegram group. But you should join it and see the paperwork that's given out with the vaccine. It's got no mention of the fact it's still in clinical trial, nothing at all. It's just people are just queuing up to be poisoned, and the death rate is skyrocketing.
People are blind and walking into something without truly thinking, even if they feel it's good, and even if in some cases there may be no short-term effects, but either way, they're still not really critically thinking. Some people, can't say that for all, but I'd just like to give a big mention to everyone. Thank you for jumping in, everyone. Nice one. Thank you. All new subbers, old subbers, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right. Friday tomorrow. BRIT Girl, London. How did it go?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. I like all of them. It was just amazing. Again, like we didn't anticipate that as many people as there were. We thought everyone would be waiting for the 29th, which is the next real big one. But just as many people there, 0 police presence, 0, not even a hint of a copper. We saw maybe half a dozen outside New Scotland Yard,
right.
Outside Parliament. Most of them were smiling. And it was a completely different atmosphere to protests of the past. It's like the police have almost done a 180. They can see how we behave, and then they see how, like that. Have you seen today the Palestinian protest at Trafalgar Square where they're all shouting Allah Akbar and screaming in the middle of Trafalgar Square, and the obviously the this kill the bill, all of the protests. A lot of the police now, they can see the difference. And I think they just realise there's never any trouble at our protests. There's never any trouble unless they instigate it. And it's not worth it now because we outnumber them significantly. We outnumber the military, the police, and ground support services considerably at these marches. And they know that. And that's why they're staying away, I think. Plus, every time they try and grab one of us, we grab them back now.
Well, I found the same in Manchester. The police, I have to commend them the way they acted. In many ways, I was having banter and having nice little chats with them. They didn't impede anybody. And when they needed to step in, they did. And I don't think anyone questioned it when they did. They've done an impeccable job. And I do believe, same as London, same as Liverpool, initially, the marches or the events that were held early on in Manchester, there was a lot of scrupulous behaviour with the police, coming, throwing people at the ground and dragging them off. One of my relatives being one of them, and that brought some out of me against the police I'll never forget. And I hated it because I went off on him, literally, because it was just bang out of order. They went from 0 to 100 just like that. And it was all because of one woman holding up a sign. They managed to do it. And then I then started to go to Liverpool, where I was seeing just gypsy grabbing, coming in, screeching round, jumping out.
Yeah, that's what they do. Pick off the weakest in the herd, like a pack of hyenas.
Yeah.
The one.
How they've changed, what's made them change. I agree with you in a sense that I hope the pennies drop now, that they can see that there's certain marches that are creating trouble and animosity, and there's not. I don't want to be too naive though, because at the same time, what they did do on the same day, whether they knew about it, I'm sure they would have had reconnaissance, they would have known. They've released these two marches simultaneously on the same day in London and in Manchester.
Oh yeah.
That to me don't sound very box clever. Now I don't know whether they have got a choice in saying, well, listen, the safety shouldn't. So I don't know. Half of me says they might be switching on, and half of me says, well, one, I think that was all a distraction anyway, and two, I think that side showed how vindictive and militant some people can be who are joining that. So it's evident, it's clearly evident, the sentiment on ours, the children, happy vibes. It was just a no-brainer. So I'm a bit like that.
No, I think, and also I think the big thing is the CPS. All COVID things have been dropped. I think that's got a big thing to do with it. I think they know that they can't prosecute now because it's not the law. So why would they waste their time going out to calls? I mean, they don't bother coming out now. People used to call the police because of somebody not wearing a mask. They're not interested in any of that now. We have a right to protest. And that right has been actually upheld in Parliament. They gave us permission. I'm sorry, if you've got permission, it's not a protest. It's a state-sanctioned gathering. But I think since the first compensation claim was paid out, things have changed slowly. But I've never been challenged on not wearing a mask ever. When I flew on holiday, ever, I've never been challenged on it. But then I walk with confidence and I know my rights. So, and I think if people do, but people are starting to feel more confident, and you start to see less and less of them in the streets wearing masks, and people are starting to smile at each other again. They're starting to be less suspicious. Because this is my theory now, is if there was some bug, I don't believe there was, I just think it was flu with fear. If, let's theoretically say, there was some bug. It's been 14 months now. You will have been exposed to it a million different ways, be it via a cash machine, a chip and pin, a door handle, a shopping trolley, your post, a parcel that's delivered, a lamppost, a bus stop, a car, whatever it is. If it's that deadly and contagious and airborne and can be spread from 2 meters apart, you would have had it by now. You would have had it, you've been exposed to it, you've got your immunity to it, crack on with your life. Stop waiting for the government to save you, because the government isn't in the business of saving people. The government is in the business of power for themselves. And if people haven't figured this out yet, then there's really no hope for humanity.
Rachel, remember when that Labour politician was caught saying there's no such, you can't, what was the saying? Never let a bad crisis go to waste. And she was saying that in reference to COVID. That, for me, said a lot about how, one, it was then, if it was such a pandemic, you drop the political aspects, you try to win political points on this, you do what's truly right for your population. And I'm not saying she was in anything by saying that, but then it turned it all into a game. That then someone saying that, then for damn sure the other side will be trying to utilise it for political points as well. And then in the meantime, you've got suicide rates going up, you've got the COVID legislation moving in, and things are squeezing around people all the while. You've got lack of trust in the news, lack of trust in the establishment. You know what I mean? Lack of trust in the police.
But then at the same time, you've also got the growing side, the legal side on our side, who are doctors and medical professionals and lawyers who are taking this to the Nuremberg trials, the second Nuremberg trials. This is going to. This is crimes against humanity on a mass genocidal scale. And there are hundreds of thousands of doctors and nurses and lawyers who are standing up. That just doesn't, they're obviously not going to get any coverage in the media. Why would you listen to those doctors, the ones who actually care about your health, not the ones being paid by Big Pharma to promote a unnecessary vaccine? And now they've brought out a booster already. Have you seen this today? They've now brought out the booster. So now there's a third vaccine involved. And it's just money making and control. And this is all, and people can't see it. It baffles me why anyone thinks the government gives a shit about you. The government doesn't give a shit about public health. They haven't promoted public health once. They haven't taught you how to boost your immunity. They've not taught anything. This whole thing is a total sham, and I'm sick to the back teeth of it now. If you haven't had it in 14 months, you ain't going to get it. Move on.
You sent me something before in regards to the CDC and their attitude on face masks now, and their plan, hopefully, to promote people who have been vaccinated to now not wear masks and just go out to events and basically, for them, act like life has just gone back to normal. Now, look at the effect that that's going to have on the other side. How could you man something like that? How could you police it?
Can't. It's true to humanity. You can't have it.
Well, going back to the Nuremberg thing, what you were saying before, you're talking marking people up or people having to present some form of papers to say that they're justified in wearing the mask or not wearing the mask, either way. So it's getting to crazy proportions where I do feel a rounding up of the initial people that are the people that are being stubborn on this. You know what I mean? In a very sophisticated way through the press. A lot of little demonizing. I mean, what's your opinions on Andrew Lloyd Webber coming out and saying anti-vaxxers? Remember, there's a big spectrum of people who don't want the vaccine. Not always anti-vaxxers, but anti-vaxxers are no better than drunk drivers. What was your opinion to that, Rick?
I'd like to know why the 95% of the population who don't get the flu jab every season aren't anti-vaxxers. Why every winter aren't they vilified as being anti-vaxxers? I think Andrew Lloyd Webber looks like his mother had sex with a pig, personally. I think he's one of the most grotesque and ugly looking men to ever walk the earth. I think he has all the testosterone of a potato, and his opinion is as relevant to me as that shite that he churns out as art.
Brilliant, Brit Girl. You know what I feel coming now? Any minute. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. But I agree with you. I mean, I'm not suggesting that I agree with the animal. It could have been anything, but it's that arrogant attitude and virtue signaling.
He's vile. He's absolutely, and I've had the displeasure of meeting him.
Really?
Yeah, when I used to do security, I used to do Elton John's White Tie and Tiara Ball every year that he had. His big shenanigans that he used to put on for all the super rich. And yes, so Mr. Lloyd Webber was a regular at the parties.
What would you say now? He's got that stance. If you were one of his employees and you, through your own informed way of being, choose not to go down the vaccine route, at least not right now. Let's use that.
Cha-ching.
I know.
I'd sue the arse off him. That's what I'd do. You can't force
think of them, and what are they going to think of him?
I imagine they already think quite a lot of him, having working for him. They'll either be one way or the other. They'll either be sycophantic and won't be able to see him for what he is, or they'll know what an absolute giant knob he is. I think he's one of those Marmite people, isn't he? Mm. He's one of the lovies in the industry world, and I mean, why anybody listens to these morons, I don't know anyway. I mean, who are they? I mean, so what? He can write a bit of music. Congratulations. What makes him an authority on anything other than how to play a piano or write a score? Why is he weighing in? Why are any celebrities weighing in on anything? And why, if there is a freaking pandemic, do we need celebrities to promote a vaccine?
These are supposedly highly intelligent people in a status. They're so much higher than we are.
They're not. They're all inbred. I mean, look at them, man. Higher intelligence. I mean, it goes down with inbreeding, doesn't it?
My channel's going, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't hold back, Phil. I'm sorry. You know me.
No, you know what?
You knew the risks when you had me on, mate.
I love it. Honestly, I wouldn't change you for the world. No, but the guy, I don't get how you can be so self-righteous. And for intelligent people, they can be so general sweeping in their statements.
But now, they're not intelligent, are they?
Remember this. Remember you're all Nazis, you're all racist, when you can clearly see that, you know what, if there's 1,000 people at the march, you might actually say you could pick someone out that might actually come out with a racist slur, a racist tendency, and has the tendency to do that. That's fine. We're all humans. You're going to do that. I would say it's strange, like you said in the last stream, if you don't find that, because you're going to get a variable amount of feelings on everything. As long as it's not prominent in the vibe and the march, then that's all that matters. You go to the left and find out their cut-off point and see what they want to do with people. You know what I mean? They want to put them in gulags and everything. So let's not start being all self-righteous here. But to general sweep, that's what gets me to go, they're all this, when it's clearly an inaccurate statement and you don't know the people that you're talking about either. But
I know. Of course they do, because they're mouthpieces. All they are is they sell their soul, they get their fame, and then they become mouthpieces for the establishment. They do as they're told. They go on, like every comic relief and children in need, out come these overprivileged millionaires to tell us poor people on minimum wage to dig deep for some overseas charity, yet the money ends up being spent on Chinese programs to help people stop smoking, or child trafficking, or it just sits in a bank. I mean, these people are so corrupt. Their hypocrisy, I mean, to the 10th degree. I mean, they're just I mean, I don't understand why anybody gets any of their information or listens to a single word a celebrity says. They literally have the IQs of flip-flops, most of them. It's all in their programming. I mean, their personalities are wiped out and they're reprogrammed to regurgitate the shit that they're taught. If you don't toe the line, will ruin your life.
It's egos. I mean, if you've got this talent that projects you and people do nothing but say yes to you all the time, that's going to warp your sense of reality, isn't it? In a sense, I'm not saying you're going to go totally off the chart. You might still actually be a nice person and be in that position, but that can garnish a lot of narcissism and sociopathic behavior when you've got...
I don't think anyone can get to that level without narcissism. I really don't. I don't think anyone can get to that level of, I mean, the things you have to do to even get to the level of most of these people is, as most people will know who are in the know. I mean, Rita Ora has been passed around like candy. She was with Weinstein and Oprah Winfrey, and then look at her overnight her fame went, and now she's having parties on her birthday, and all she does is issue a tiny little apology, and off she gets with her scot-free. Whereas then somebody who dares to try and open their business and earn a crust, they get vilified and their business taken down and or prosecuted. These people don't live in our world. They don't live in the world that we live in, and they have the audacity to stand there and dictate to us how we're supposed to live our lives. They can get fucked. As far as anyone who listens to any celebrity for their news is a moron. I mean, some of them don't have bad ideas. I mean, there's a few people that I listen to who are kind of on the bag and leading people in the right way, but still, you can still see that they're part of the system, and maybe they're just giving people enough of what they want to hear to appease us. Like that, oh, we do have some celebrities on our side. Like with Russell Brand, take him for example. He's very clever in his videos. I mean, you can see he's very anti the vaccine and very anti Bill Gates and anti-capitalist. And I know he's more towards the socialist, but I think that this pandemic has really actually woken him up quite a bit. And he's been speaking out against it, and he's getting vilified for it, but he doesn't go far enough in what he says about vaccine and stuff, which makes me, and the fact that his videos are still up, he never gets censored. You have to look at the people who do say some of the truth but don't get censored. People like Ben Shapiro, for example. People hail him as this conservative god. Well, actually he's not. After his hot mic incident, I know, talking about how he wanted his comment about pansexuals to be scrubbed because he didn't want to get cancelled by his advertisers and stuff. It just shows you the moral fibre of these people, that on camera they have one opinion, but actually in reality they're very different people.
It shows what money can do, though, doesn't it? Because no doubt in America, I don't monetize anything. I could have 10 times over, but I don't. Just do it because I love it. And as long as I love doing it, I'll keep doing it for free. When it starts becoming...
I haven't been monetized for a long time.
I don't knock anyone for monetizing from the word go either. It's my personal choice. You know what I mean? I didn't set it up for that, and I don't want to start it now. I think in many ways it creates more problems than it's bleeding worth. Unless you're making severe dough and you're getting clear what you're actually doing. If you make a wrong step, people use it against you constantly. But I don't mind anyone doing it. It's up to them what they do. But when you're making that amount of money in America and whatnot, they have massive lucrative deals, don't they, when they get to that size of A-list YouTubers or social media. So the money talks again. No matter what his opinion is, no matter how staunch he is, the bottom line is there's going to be a cut-off. Now,
everyone's got a price.
That's bred a lot of unconfidence in the guy. And I don't, you know, it's not that I'm a real admirer of him. I think every now and then he's come out with the odd little bit of thing that I've gone, oh, yeah, slip. But in many ways, you know, he's not my kind of bag. But
no, he's not mine. But I like the way he does his videos because it actually makes people think. Yeah. Like if you watch some of his stuff, it may be people who are more further, I don't want to say left or right because this isn't really left or right, but they do tend to be more of the leftist hive mind people who are going along with this. Sorry, Poppy wants to say hello. Yes. This is Biggie Smalls. Say hello. Thank you, kisses. Right, you go play. Thank you. And he's
You know what I mean?
Sorry?
It had to be a white dog.
he's champagne, I'll have you know. He's a
Champagne.
champagne Shih Tzu, and he keeps trying to hump me. Now stop it. He's just growing all his balls. He's trying to hump everything.
He's got your new ghetto hip hop rap career at BRIT Girl.
Yeah, I was noticing in the comments somebody asked about my eye patch. Thank you, firstly, for noticing how lovely it is. I made it myself. It's my own design, but I'm wearing it because I have thyroid eye disease. Basically, my right eye is paralysed. The one that's uncovered, I can't move it upwards, so I can't focus with two eyes. So I'm wearing a patch. I'm currently having radiotherapy and various other treatments to try and get my eye working. I'm not part of the Illuminati, as per some of the comments I read in the last one, who said, don't trust her because she's covering her eye. She's covering her left eye. Don't trust her. Biggie man, stop.
You know, I tell you what, it's precarious, isn't it? You've got to be careful. You know, I hope I ain't got any symbology on there.
I know, but I was like, for God's sake, it's a medical eye patch. I'm not. Right, Biggie, bug off now.
There's, you know, I've got a big hello to Katie Jane Swallow, as ever, Children's Matter News. She provides much technology.
Oh, yes.
But she was doing a stream that she streamed through to this channel as well on Sunday. She does a normal stream called Coco Morning. And she'd done it with Sharon Binks, a lady who I've worked with in the past, and I'll be working with again.
I know Sharon. Yeah,
Sharon. She's top, really grounded and really kind of spiritual. She's on it. She knows where she's at. And she's wearing a necklace, and people mistook it for a pentagram. And they went at her. They went at her. Even on my channel, and people going, "Oh, I'm getting out of here if she's wearing that," and I'm thinking, "Whoa, what's going on here?" All because of the necklace. I think, Jesus. And she had to backtrack and explain why she's wearing it, the significance behind it, and what the actual symbology within it is. Because she was actually saying this is actually the reverse to the pentagram. If you look at it, and I'm thinking,
it's upside down. Is the pentagram, isn't it? Yeah.
People just get misconstrued and jump off, you know, and be 1,000 trolls on you because they've got the wrong idea of what your necklace represented. It's like,
yeah, I'm Illuminati. I'm Lady Gaga.
Exactly. We've got no burning stuff behind us, I guess, and no ghost horns or stuff. You know what I mean?
They do that one as well, didn't they, or something?
The triangle and
pyramid. I'll do a pyramid.
Yeah, no problem. I'm telling you, it's coming.
You won't like this.
You're crossing off every box. Like YouTube are going, right, he's got 2 more boxes.
No, this will keep it in. They like this sort of stuff. They like the satanic shit. There you go.
Oh,
sorry, Jesus.
Oh, brilliant. Whoever said that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just like this was very random and spontaneous, wasn't it?
It was very random. Wait, it was based off that story that I sent you this morning, wasn't it? We were actually going to talk about DEW, so that was the whole point of this stream, and we're like half an hour in and we haven't even mentioned it yet.
I don't think people will be bothered because we tend to float about and people will get enjoyment out of it. And probably for once, they're not witnessing a stream where everyone wants to kill each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll look at that as well. So
I'm all about the peace.
We are. It's like an intellectual militant pacifist. That's how I class myself.
With a bit of ranting.
Yes. You can't help a bit of ranting, can you? Where would the world be if you couldn't rant anymore? They're going to bring a no rant rule out, aren't they?
I know. It's coming. It's bloody coming. If people don't get off their asses and do something soon.
They'll be ranting all over the place. It could be like Monsters Inc. You could actually power and generate a whole city off the amount of ranting that will be going on a community basis. We've got to learn how to harness that power. What
I need to do is record like all of my answers because I get so sick of repeating myself. Don't you get fed up of talking about the same thing? It's like nobody talks about anything else anymore.
No.
It's like life has just stopped.
Yes.
Everything, the world has just come to a standstill and nothing other than COVID exists. It's just weird. Well, I want the flying cars. This is meant to be the future. We were promised hoverboards and flying cars. Where are they? No, instead we've got DEWs and fake pandemics. It sucks. I want my Back to the Future promise. Where's the flying cars? I'm sorry, Biggie.
You look at it, look at where we're at, and you can understand why people come online searching for answers, and they can understand why they come to streams wanting to listen to people to go, well, am I the only one seeing this? Am I the only one that is looking at this? Because everyone around me is disagreeing. Everyone around me is kind of ostracizing my mindset. So there'll be so much solace from people that will just get a lot of greatness out of this, listening to this, knowing that we're not alone. The marching, we're not alone. You know what I mean? I think that's the purpose we're serving here. If it's coming out rant style, then right, I'd prefer to do rant stroke take the piss, because life is that.
Oh, if you don't laugh, you just die of just misery, really, wouldn't you? You'd curl up into the fetal position and never move again if you actually let it overwhelm you. I mean, I've had so much the last 3 months. It's been, but if I haven't seen the funny side of it, it would have sent me over. And that's what you have to do. Is you have to find the joy where you can, find your moments of joy and your getting your vibrations up and renewing your spirit and finding like-minded people. And that's why I go to the protests. It's not to stick it to the government, because the government don't give a shit and they're not in London on a Saturday afternoon. I go there to be around like-minded people, to connect and to know that I'm not alone and crazy, and that I'm not what the media would have you believe. I'm not some weird conspiracy theorist. That actually there's more of us than there is of them, and that's why I go to the marches. No, I don't think protests particularly do much, but they are starting to now because of the size of them. The very fact that there's zero police presence shows that they don't have the capabilities to deal with the size of the crowds that we're now getting at protests. So maybe they will in the future start to have an impact, but only if and when every single person decides that enough is enough. And that's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So we're going to have to either start playing dirty or start preparing for our demise. I'm already ready for the demise, so I'm ready to fight dirty. So, let's go.
I don't know. I just get echoes of Martin Luther King. And in the face of true adversity, high vibration and positivity not only attracted people to his movement, but totally guilted the dark energy. I mean, apart from obviously demise, that was the only way they could get it by literally doing that. They couldn't pull down his organisation because of the sentiment behind it. It was about people coming together no matter what. He was attracting people of non-blacks. And when you're doing that, that was very dangerous. And he was doing it through love and positivity and intelligence. So as much as I hear what you're saying, and as much as with all the distractionary stuff they're throwing out, that's all designed around hate and around manipulating people and narrative driven, that's exactly what they want, what you just described. And I just think we could be at a higher place where we could do this without that actually.
No, I don't mean like violence. I mean like.
No, I know what you mean.
Booking up all the COVID appointments and not turning up, that sort of thing. Cheeky mischief and stuff.
Like civil, like disobedient behaviour.
Civil disobedience, that sort of thing. Things that puts a spanner in their work. Book up all the COVID appointments so that nobody can get in to have a vaccine. Go in and disrupt your vaccine centres. Ask them questions that they can't answer about theirs and the yellow card system.
If you remember on the last, we spoke about this, didn't we? And about the public court of opinion. And how if people truly stand up and say what they feel, then that shows a lot. If people all commented when someone asked for a review and everyone commented, you could change the dynamics of that product straight away, because if everyone says, I don't fucking like it, then you're done.
Power of social media these days.
We've got to realise how big we are. What we've got to also realise is that it don't matter that we all disagree on certain aspects. We've been honed and trained that we can't disagree on certain aspects, and that is redundant, because we spoke about that again, that you wouldn't expect everyone to agree. And I think this movement has slightly turned a corner in that respect, or what it stands for, because I don't think there's any true one movement. It's just a collaboration of people now amalgamating under probably 10 banners. You're really going to break it down.
Yeah.
But it's good times. Good times.
Oh, the marches are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, I can't wait for the next one, next Saturday. Everyone be there, by the way. 29th, this is the big kahuna. We're bringing up loads of kids with us. It's a big old group of us. And I've recently got into crypto. I won't bore you with it. But it's quite good.
So have we.
It's been quite exciting. And you are?
So have we.
What was that?
We've got.
Yeah, have you? Yeah. Everything. Yeah, we've taken everything out of the banks and put it into crypto, and I'm not remotely worried that it's crashing. I'm not bothered about that.
What's going on? I mean, there's two things going on. Elon Musk.
Yeah, and China.
Fucking slap, and then China's done what they've done, and the confidence has gone right out of it. And
but it's good. Buy the dip. That's always what you do. I'm excited. Because I've already taken my initial investment out, and I've done quite nicely. So what I've got left now is play money. It goes up and down, but we're in it for the long haul. This is like, we're looking for sort of 5-10 years down the line for our investments and stuff. But I'm basically, what I'm coming to is, I was looking, because I want to go deeper into it, because I'm quite new. I'm still sort of on surface level. I want to get into sort of the futures and short stops and stuff. So I've reached out to this guy who's local, who does crypto tuition. He used to be a financial advisor. And I just got chatting to him yesterday, and it turns out he's awake as well. Because, like, it's like that awkwardness now when you have a conversation with someone you don't know which side of the COVID line they stand on and stuff. So it was awkward at first, and then once we sort of broke the ice and he realised we were both on the same page, we ended up talking for like nearly an hour and a half. This 2-minute conversation to book an appointment with him, and now he's bringing his kids on the marches, and we talked about homeschooling, and he was overwhelmed. He didn't know that, like, there was other people out there like this, because he's not on social media or anything.
Isn't this crazy? Because I had a spark that said exactly the same thing to me in work just after the Manchester event, and the Arndale, they all went in.
Yeah, I saw that. It was amazing. Yeah,
brilliant. And it's big news, really, when you look at it. I couldn't believe how big it was at the end of the day. But he didn't know about it. I showed him the footage, and he said that it pleases me because it makes me feel that I'm not alone in the way I feel. And then I think, well, that's right, because I can understand that from the perspective of the media are not showing it. I can understand that. But from my perspective, I'm going, dude, I've just been walking around town with best part of 10 to 12,000 people. How could you have not known about that? But this is the world we live in. Even though people are filming it as you're walking past, you think, well, why are you not seeing it through just 6 degrees of separation? It's crazy that everyone only gets fed from the mainstream media when they've got their own devices themselves. I don't know.
That's why I say ignorance is a choice now. I say it's a choice. It used to be that it was harder. We only had the news sources that's all we had to go by. And it used to be that they, for the most part, did just tell us what was going on, and we could figure it out for ourselves. Yeah. Now they tell us what to think. But we have alternate media now. We do have independent media. We have channels all across the world. I mean, you can see, if you're bothered and you care enough you can get any information you want. I mean, you don't have to sit there and listen to whatever pillock they've got on the BBC or ITV telling you whatever agenda it is they're pushing that day. I mean, they don't tell you the news anymore. It's not news. It's just agenda and crap and fear. And the best thing we ever did was get rid of the telly. I haven't watched live telly in 7 years. I watch box sets and stuff like that, but I ain't watching it. I haven't watched an advert in years. I haven't seen a Christmas advert. I don't even know if they still make shit like EastEnders and all that. I'm not interested because it's all indoctrination. Everything through it, it's just been since I can see it since we were growing up. They had the whole ladette culture in the 90s, which was sort of feminism, go, hey, girls can get what they want. And now we're reaping the benefits of that with women in their 30s who are all single and depressed. We've never had more people who are on pills for depression and anxiety, yet we've never had more as a society. So it's like the more we get, the more depressed we are. And and now everything's been taken away from people because you can't go here, you can't go there. We've been spoiled. And now they've taken everything away. You can't go shopping, you can't go out, you can't go see your friends, you can't go out for dinner, you can't do nothing. And now mental health is going through the roof, but we can't talk about that because 6 people died from the flu yesterday.
No, I was mentioning that because I thought that before when you were talking. You can tell the society we live in because we can wax lyrical about the mental effects, and we can talk about how it must feel now being deprived of your life. We can break it down and people will acknowledge that on here. What I struggle with, again, is that when the establishment come out on the podiums giving you the death by PowerPoint, you know, you've got to do this, you've got to do that with the free podiums and all that kind of stuff. Why were they not waxing lyrical on the psychological effects on what they know will come? Never mind what they predicted with the Neil Ferguson bollocks, but what they know will come by basically telling people you can't go out your house, you can't meet your friends, you can't even go in the house. If you sit there, you've got to miss a seat because of this person, you've got to wear a mask. They know that when people are conditioned to do that, they're going to go through some stress, trauma in order to get to that position. You're not going to get people walking around with masks and just thinking it's normal. In order for the individual, for them to want to do that, they've been stressed through trauma in order to think that that is a logical thing to do. We've seen it.
And even now the CDC's come back and said again, now we don't have to wear masks. I believe there will be people who are that fearful that they will probably wear masks until the day they die now.
Yes.
We will probably see masks like in China every day. There will be people who will never take them off, despite the fact there is zero scientific evidence of them doing anything. And if they worked, then the hospitals would have been absolutely chock-a-full with people who don't wear masks. As it stands, I don't know a single person who doesn't who wears a mask, and I don't know a single person who's been hospitalised or needed anything more than a couple of days bed rest. So there's just no science. They keep saying follow the science. I am following actual science, not your pseudo bollocks that you keep pushing on people.
You're living it because we said this again, didn't we? Realise when you witness your life in real eyes, and you look at like what you said before, what you're touching, who you're meeting, the connections that you're having, from what they're saying, the viability that if you of either getting it, passing it on to someone else within a 2-3 degree separation that would then know that COVID is around you, you don't see it. If that was the case, and that was a categoric, marches, the cases would exponentially grow. It would have to, because every rule in the book has been broken, and the amount of people, you would be having spikes. And that's only considering if all them people are from one area.
We prove the science.
You're totally ripping it apart, but blind people through the fear and trauma have just switched off. You said it yourself in that lovely hip hop rap gangster video that you're now all on. You know what I mean?
But that's true. You're not going to get anyone more susceptible than me right now. I mean, I'm immunosuppressed. I have a severe
Immunization.
no. I can't even get the bloody word out. I have immune disease. Oh my god, that was so hard to get out. So I'm in the middle of radiotherapy at the minute. So my brain is slightly fried because it is on my brain. But no, I'm severely immunosuppressed. I have autoimmune disease. That's the word I was trying to get out. I have chronic, lifelong asthma, but I've had COVID because I've got the antibodies, but I had no symptoms of it. I looked after my husband who had it and my daughter who had it. They both had symptoms. Both of them are fit and healthy. I should have, by right, have had it. I've been to every protest, going back as far as April, which is when you still were thinking that it might have been something to be scared of. Even back then, when I knew it was a pile of shit, and that was when it first came out. I wasn't scared back then. I must have been to a dozen protests. I've been around thousands of people. I haven't worn a mask. I've hugged. I've shared food with people, bottles and drinks, and like random strangers. I don't think like if I'm gonna die from COVID, then so be it. I'm not gonna exist in fear. I want to live my life. Life is only life if you're living it, and we're not living right now. So this isn't life. And I don't want it. And if they keep saying you're going to go back to normal, I don't want to go back to that shit. That wasn't normal. Men thinking they're women, women thinking they're men, and kids being taught pornography. I know that's not normal. None of that's normal. So actually, I would quite like an overhaul of humanity and start again.
It's normal back though, because it's been burnt now into people of how they feel about certain things. It's been burnt into people about their vulnerabilities and susceptibilities, whether it's legitimate or not. Even if it's not legitimate, people are acting in a way that they feel very vulnerable and they feel very susceptible. And that's only through the manipulation and the brainwashing through the fear porn that's been slapped at them. And these are our compadres, our family members, even, some of your own family members. We're seeing it all over, and it's the effects of it. What I do get on, and I totally agree with you, the positive side to this. People talk about the Great Reset. The Great Reset for me is internal. Now I can see the landscape. I can see what I want to be. I can see what I believe. I can see how I want to progress forward, how I want to change the world with my sense of positivity, and just maintain that and enjoying my life and sticking with people around me of like-minded and same positivity levels. Because unfortunately, people who want to contain what's going on within them, the vibration's either going to just stay at one level or it's going to slowly just go down, down, down. You know what I mean? So it's almost like being in a position of understanding that we know where we are. Can't change people's minds. Just up to me what I do forward and, try and convince people that, you know what, let's be happy.
I think if they haven't seen it by now, they're never going to see it, are they? I mean, it's cognitive dissonance at this point. They've been so brainwashed. It's like the North Koreans, the people in North Korea who still believe that Kim Jong-fatty was the great supreme leader and yada yada yada. It's phenomenal how it can be achieved and just how susceptible the human brain. It's also it's almost becoming like Stockholm syndrome at this point. It's like people are actually begging for the abuse from their abuser, the government. They're sort of begging for more restrictions and more limitations on their life, and it's become almost like Stockholm syndrome, with them sort of relying on their captor for their life, really.
You couldn't have used a better word. Reliance. These are people that are educated, employed, maybe got their own businesses, but they've shown an element of reliance now. The government is their mother that's picking them up from school. It almost feels like that, and I don't want to condescend or patronise anyone, but it's the way they felt vulnerable and susceptible to only the government's whims and what they say is right, without using their own. It's almost like infantile that as well in the last stream. There's a, behaviour that is not even adult-like because there's no wisdom.
No. And there's no common sense. There's just not. It is that they have infantilized society, made people incapable of thinking for themselves. Even when they have like the most blatant of hypocrisy, like let's talk Dr. Hillary, shall we? Dr. Hillary, as I like to call him. That man has flip-flopped more times than a Frenchman in sandals. He's like, it's mask in March and it wasn't mask, and it's you wear a mask, don't wear a mask. This is a virus so deadly it can be eradicated with hand sanitizer and soap. That's the level of virology that we're dealing with here. And this man goes on telly, Dr. Shillery, actually, we should call him, because there's a great picture of him in a pharmacy. Have you seen it? No. He's standing in a pharmacy picking up his prescription, standing right next to the sign that says face coverings must be worn, whilst he's not wearing a face covering. And this is the man who goes on television, on ITV, and preaches to the nation about how we're all killing granny by not wearing our masks. They are the worst of the worst of the worst. Why anybody would listen to them, I can't fathom it. I just can't fathom how people can't see how they flip-flopped.
People have got to understand who are not from this country as well, Rachel. This campaign they're doing is relentless. As anyone in any country that they live in, they'll have a series of advertisement borders as they're driving up the street. We have advertisement slogans that are basically guilting people as they're driving up the street that if they have the vaccine, they are now instilling hope in the nation, which implies that if you're not yet vaccinated, you are becoming a problem slowly but surely. I do feel the wagons are going round, and you've got to be strong at this point. I feel personally, to whatever you feel. If people then go, well, but there's only so much, that's aggressive. When you can't even walk up the street without being reminded, wherever you go, could we just go up?
Well, I take them down everywhere I go. If it's a sign up, it comes down. It's just that simple. The government, they've got to know about how much our local council have spent trying to remove the posters that we put up and we take down. It's just, the
one thing that
people have had enough.
People have had enough. But the one thing you don't want to do is start firing microwave weapons at people. That's not a very good fucking idea.
Or how the Chinese did it very successfully.
They did.
Beautifully. Yeah.
To
the Indian army.
We're going to go to this clip here. We're going to play this video for a couple of minutes.
Which was the whole point of the stream.
We're nearly an hour in and we've not even brought
We got there. We got in.
And this is Fox News talking about delegates and possibly agents of multiple alphabet agencies that have, you could say, come under the effects of what they classed as a direct energy weapon. And they're trying to say in this, whether it's true or not, that Russia is the culprit. Now we'll talk
Russia.
It's always Russia, isn't it? It's like, my God, you're pointing the finger straight away, but we'll try and round this off because it's
nothing to do with China, who we actually know have used this weaponry before and now are in bed with Biden.
We'll find out. There's multiple countries that have got this technology, but yet they're quick to point at Vladimir.
It's always Russia.
The usual narrative bullshit, but
he just will not join the bloody central banking system. He must be sorry, Biggie shouts when I bang on the floor.
Very geopolitical about it, I'm telling you. That's what it is. It's demonizing. Why they keep leaving China out of it, anyone can answer that. But here's the video anyway. It's only a couple of minutes long.
We are learning new details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016. Shortly after, then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
U.S. officials say there are now 130 suspected victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches, and vertigo, the targets they believe of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing, in some cases, permanent traumatic brain injury.
New indications suggest the incidents go as far back as 1996. Two individuals working on the NSC believe they were targeted in 2019 and in 2020, just after the election. One was near the White House and one was walking her dog. The Russians have been working on mobile microwave weapons for years.
We have to get more information, and we got to tell the public what's going on.
The U.S. Air Force and tech firm Epirus have developed a mobile high-energy microwave weapon to bring down drones. Epirus is also working on a miniature variant of the weapon that can be easily transported on a pickup truck. This is the type of technology that might be targeting American diplomats.
Russia certainly has the means and the motive to conduct these attacks. I mean, there's some evidence out there that certainly points to Vladimir Putin, the KGB operative in the Kremlin, being responsible.
The only victim so far to come forward, former CIA head of the Europe desk, Mark Polymeropoulos, was targeted while visiting Moscow 4 years ago and forced to retire.
It's pretty insidious because it also doesn't leave any kind of, open scars or wounds.
Mark lobbied for treatment at Walter Reed's National Center for the Intrepid. As part of his therapy, he painted this mask of a Superman cape with a broken CIA shield with an arrow through it to symbolize the moral injury he felt when at first he was not believed by the CIA.
The CIA is now taking the issue seriously, but without the actual weapon, U.S. officials don't know who to blame and how to stop these alleged attacks. Brett?
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.
If you wear glasses or contacts, you must see this. A Japanese Nobel Prize-winning scientist in stem cell research, Shinya Yamanaka, has discovered a natural way to reclaim the...
Yeah,
What is
said at the end there that they don't know because they haven't got a weapon. Yes, like your sweatshirts.
Show your t-shirt.
Is it a t-shirt? Yes. Loving it. Revolutionary times, Rachel. Oh yeah.
She wanted to say hello. Shall I?
Hello.
She likes being on YouTube.
We...
Get out, you. You've done what you just said. Now bug off. Right. Sorry for the brief interlude.
It's talking out of both sides of the mouth because they're sitting there. They don't know who it is. They haven't got a weapon, and they're going to investigate it. But they had to throw Russia. But then we look at this here. Is this come up on screen now? China cooked Indian. These are all thanks to you, by the way. This is all thanks to you. China cooked Indian soldiers alive with secret microwave weapon. I mean, God's sake.
They pushed back the whole Indian army by cooking them alive using a and never mind that. What about the forest fires? Forest fires, my ass. There's no houses and trees are completely untouched, but the houses the trees and the grass is completely unscorched, but all the houses and cars are just liquidated. And it also happens to run along the exact same route that they want to build a high-speed train. Same for the Australian bushfires, but it's completely natural. It's just bushfires. It's nothing to do with DEWs. Never mind the cars on bridges that get liquidated. Nowhere near a tree. They're all just liquidated, so down to rubble, nothing left at all. Not a scorch mark on it, but we're supposed to believe that it's bushfires. It's not. It's DEWs, and they're going to become more prominent in society.
What we can say is that, like I say, with this story, they've implied that only the Russians really are the ones working on that technology. They've said America have got lesser technology, but it can be deployed. So it seems weird that they're kind of throwing themselves out the loop, but putting themselves back in it again. But this guy, some chap who's obviously involved with the Chinese authorities, so speaking during a lecture, he said that They stuck to a no-lie shot rule by instead aiming pulses of radiation towards hostile soldiers, triggering pain and irritation by heating up their skin, BRIT girl.
I know. They literally cooked them from the inside out.
It's brutal, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Saying that they were debilitated, they couldn't get up, they were vomiting everywhere.
Yeah.
So
and I'm sorry, but it does sound like something the Chinese would do. I'm not going to lie. They're not famed for their.
Honestly, this goes. I didn't have a long time to look at this at all, but it got me looking in different directions. And let me just go back and get that off, because they're not the only ones. When it comes to that type of destructive technology, they're all at it. They're bloody all at it, including us. I mean, look at this one here. The power of laser weapons from kilowatts to terawatts to destroy targets with quick pulses. I mean, what the fuck are they doing here? And you know what I mean? No wonder the military budget is where it is. I want our militaries to be able to protect, but what are you doing? And
that's not for protection, that's for annihilation.
It is slaying people, and it's something said. Instead of low power continuous wave lasers that emit a steady stream of energy, the army wants a pulse laser that shoots intermittent but intense bursts that can quickly destroy a target.
So an automatic DW then, rather than a single.
Commissioner for precise cutting and etching. My God, they want to treat you like, they want to use it like a grotting wire and you're a piece of cheese. So you're just going to start slicing people in half with this thing. I mean, what is this for defense? I mean, what's going on here? You know, it becomes to the point where it's like, what's going on here? I love the fact of a defense force called the military, but has even that gone rogue now? What the fucking hell is this technology for?
Well, we know what it's for, don't we? Same as nuclear technology, and it's basically penis swinging. It's countries swinging their giant penises at each other, saying, "I've got a bigger rocket than you." That's all it is, and it's all it's doing is provoking. And it doesn't. Whilst you're building weapons, that doesn't promote peace, does it? And we knew once Biden got back in, it'd be all scale war again. And look at what's going on in the Middle East. Love Trump or hate him, there wasn't a rocket fired from Gaza into Israel or vice versa. He brokered peace in the Middle East. He managed somewhat to denuke North Korea. What's Biden done since he's gone in? Nothing but warmonger and destroy. And these are the people that are in charge of these weapons. These are the people. I don't trust Fox News or any mainstream media news source. They sold out, I think, with the Chauvin when the police officer Fentanyl Floyd, when he got convicted of his murder. I mean, most of the Fox presenters, who I actually respected at the time, were in agreement with the conviction, which I wasn't. I mean, the man died of a fentanyl overdose. You can't shout, "I can't breathe," if you can't breathe. It just doesn't work like that. So it's just, and these are the people that we trust for our news sources. There's maybe a couple of, I quite like Tucker Carlson, that's about it. Maybe Sean Hannity, but other than that, there's not an ounce of integrity amongst anybody in the media. So I tend to get my news from the source, from the people, from small independent YouTubers who actually live in the real world and not in their ivory gated communities, in their densely white, rich upper middle class areas with no crime, violence, or migrants. So
yeah, no, it says here, just going through the Wikipedia on directed energy weapon. We're doing it. United States, the United Kingdom, India have got their own, China have got their own, Russia have got their own, Iran, Turkey, I think, were one of the first to use it, according to this here. So
that doesn't surprise me.
You know, so if you're going to tell a story, then...
Have you noticed anything about those countries? Turkey, Iran, Jordan, what was it you said? There seems to be a running theme with a lot of these countries.
You know, there seems to be a running theme with where you're going with conversations, which the same effect as far as panels are concerned. No, I agree with you. There's a lot of trying to blame other people, and this is you wonder why no one's got confidence in mainstream when they can't even tell a story without spinning it how they want it. You know, talk about the weapon if you want to talk about it. Talk about who sells it then, who makes the money. And
let's talk about
this terminology.
Who other countries does your story?
Yeah, the terminology mutual assured destruction. Man, how much money is garnished? Because everyone, like you said before, everybody will have to have that weapon because we can't be this small country with a load of bordering countries that have got that weapon. So then that creates its own little financial military ecosystem that's creating billions. So then if you can create tension in certain areas, arms sales are going to go up in them areas. So it's like, God's sake, can people not see here? So people are running around saying, free this, free that. Worry about what's in front of you. Don't get bought into foreign narratives that are possibly, no doubt there are tensions, but are possibly only presented in front of you for you to react in a certain way. And that's
like the narrative between Israel and Palestine. And sorry, Palestine never existed. It was an occupation in the 1950s. It was Judea and Samaria going back to biblical times. Israel always belonged to the Jews, and I'm so frigging sick of them fighting over this tiny little pissing strip of land in the middle of the Middle East. We should just build a whole wall around the entire Middle East and let them get on with it, is what I think we should do. I'm sick to frigging death of the Middle East. Every day it's something different. It's not, it's Syria, it's Israel, it's Palestine, it's Iran, it's Iraq, it's Afghanistan, it's Jesus Christ, get your shit together.
It's who's to blame. There's been a lot of manipulation, there's been a lot of funding in that country that's destabilised a lot of that area. There's been a lot of outside propaganda that's then gone into that country to destabilise it. And what I'm now realising is, we're party to it just like they have, just like all countries that we're all thrown into fight each other through the world.
Who do you think's giving Palestine the rockets? Every penny that is sent in aid to Palestine is spent on rockets to fly. And it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I'm sick to death of a lot of them. I don't give a shit who has the land anymore. I really don't. I just fed up with it. It's pathetic. People dying for nothing, and people like human life is valueless in this world now, especially in places like Middle East. Like a child is worth like a goat. It's like that's what we value human life as. Here they're ritually sacrificed, raped, beaten, tortured. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares about grooming. Nobody cares about children being jabbed and poked with experimental gene therapies. This is a sick, twisted, upside down, backwards, destructive society. It's toxic. Society is toxic. And maybe we do need eradicating, because we sure as hell don't deserve this beautiful earth we've been given, because as humans we are just sick individuals with perversions. And you look at what we're doing with kids and the sex education and gay pride, and it's like, be proud, do what you want, do it in your bedroom. It's called a private life for a reason. Don't get your chaps out, start sucking each other off down Brighton seafront on a Saturday afternoon. That's not normal. It's not normal. None of society is normal anymore. It's families being destroyed, men being emasculated. Families. This isn't a normal society. We are very, very, very sick, and not from a fake virus. We're sick from degeneracy, overindulgence, from a disposable society. Everything's disposable, including people. Humanity's disposable. People, relationships. How many people? Like divorce rates 1 in 2 now. It's like everything's disposable. Nothing's worth anything. Humans aren't worth anything. And this is the state that humanity's gotten into now. And it's really sad.
Hence what we were talking about before, about the Great Reset, in terms of your own internal reset. You can't ultimately control what's outside your door, but what you can control is your own spirit and your own destiny and where you want to go.
Oh, I know where I'm going.
And that's it. You know what I mean? So when you do that, you can exude something that might be contagious to other people to try and invite that into their life as well. That's where I'm at now. I'm not fighting any of this anymore because I just want to create my own little nice little place where I'm realizing I'm not naive and burying my head. I'm on it. I can see what's going on, but I can see a positive path by not becoming a product of trying to battle it all the time because it's too much. It's too heavy. And you're not going to change anything, but probably change yourself for the worse by probably using that as a tactic. Maybe I just feel that, but maybe other people might feel the same. You know what I mean? You've got to create your own little, nice little world, you know? And I feel with this, particularly online, I feel that we're here. We've got our own place, but I feel that we're somehow still lost. We need to know how to garnish it, regain, regroup, and go back out there and fucking take this shit back on and start letting them know that there's positive people. We're not all nutters. We're not all falling for the narrative. We're not all getting angry and want to, act the way you want us to act through the problem, reaction, solution theory. You know what I mean? And it's my little 2 pence there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it shakes them. They don't like seeing people positive because we're not supposed to be positive. We're supposed to be fearful because when you're fearful, it lowers your immunity. It makes you more susceptible to illnesses and the fear and the propaganda. Most of it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe something enough, you will will it into existence. I believe that. I believe that. So if you believe you're going to get this COVID and you're living your life in fear of it, and you'll probably end up working yourself to be a nervous wreck and believing that you have it. And it's all about your attitude and how you look after yourself. And again, I was at the hospital today. I keep myself fit. I work out. I eat well, and I won't wear a mask. I don't. And outside the door of the hospital is this enormous. She was wider than she was high. This pudding of a woman, literally standing there with a bottle of Coke in her hand and a fag in the other, with her mask around her chin, totting at me for not wearing a mask. This is how far. I was like, you seriously think I'm a threat to your health? When did we start becoming responsible for other people's health? This is what I want to know. I am not required to set myself on fire to keep you warm. I don't run to help fatties. I don't cut down on sugar for diabetics. I'm not cutting down on cheese and meat for people with heart disease. Other people's health are not my responsibility. I take care of me and mine, and that's it. This is one of mine here. There she is. This is my one. Unvaccinated, untouched, beautiful. Just as God intended, with an immune system. She had a virus, flu. She was over it in 3 days. She's homeschooled. She eats dirt. She rolls in the mud. She's got a good immune system. And she's a bit cheeky like her mum.
This is a young BRIT girl in the making.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, we couldn't change that for the world at all. It's sad where we're at. For me, I feel that it's the biggest gaslighting event the world has ever seen. You're convincing the vast majority of the population that things are worse than what they actually are. And you're convincing a population that a small population of people are susceptible to something, but the vast majority have now got to change their lifestyle, and if they don't, they now become ultimately killers. So
Never.
Always like, what are you doing when you say that to people?
I know.
The mental health and how people are unstable in their world and society anyway. So you throw that on people where their only solace is mobility and getting out and moving with the friends and family. So no wonder, and it's not conspiratorial to suggest that even if the agenda was not control, there is a control element that they're getting out of it, which has got to be worrying to anyone, even if they're scared now. Think in 10 years' time. We had a bit of a control and surveillance shift for me from 9/11. Once that happened, the war on terror, everything changed, airports changed, the whole 9 yards. It was sanctioned because of the problem, reaction, solution. People went, of course we need it. We don't want people coming in with bombs. But then now
it's ridiculous. You can't take anything over 100 mils, but you can take 20 100 ml bottles.
No.
It's just...
No. And anything fluid, you better drink it first. And it's like, oh my God, it's baby ale. Drink.
No.
It's like, God's sake. These are the perception bending events, the world narrative changing, gaslighting events.
It's the small changes, though, isn't it? If we can get them to conform to this, then we can get them to conform to that, and then it's the drip feeding. They've been doing it for decades. This has been in the plan for decades. We know that, the Carnegie plan and all of that. It's all part of depopulation. Everybody knows it. Oh, it's the dog and the child now. Here we go. we're getting stream bombed.
Getting everyone, everyone wants I can only see that as a good thing. Everyone wants to be on the Red Pill Bill channel. Even the dog wants to get in on it. Yes, dog. Well, listen, I'll probably leave you to it anyway. It's been as ever. We'll have to do it again.
There was something else I wanted to mention.
Oh, go for it. What was
the other thing? I can't remember. I sent you some things to talk about, but have we covered them all?
It was the mask.
I can't remember.
It was about the weapon.
Oh yeah, and then the other one was the California fire. I sent you that video about that. Yeah.
We've kind of gone through it. We've gone through the marches, the positivity.
29th. Who's coming?
Right. So, is it the usual? Do you know of any detail? I mean, I know it's hard because everything's so undercover at the moment.
We just go where we want now. We own London. Just turn up, you'll find us. We'll be there marching. We take over the whole of it.
The beauty is now they do feel that big that you can't miss them. And even with the Manchester thing, I'm like, wow, you get there straight away. Oh, there's no mistaking. You know, maybe 18 months ago or before the lockdown, it was like, all right, there's half a dozen people over there with a similar kind of heart, and then that's the only way you can distinct from, you know, now it's like, yes, I'm here. And like you say, there's many different locations in London as well where people congregate in there.
But that's what they do, is we purposefully have 6 meeting points. We have sort of 6 and then all converge. So everyone's told to look for the smoke bomb. And then so we've got some people at St James's Park, some people in Hyde Park, some people at Marble Arch, all different. And then some people near Oxford Street. And then sort of as the march goes, we all converge. And that was the tactic that worked the best, getting the police, because they thought there was just a few of us. And then the smoke bomb went off and we all appeared out of every bush and park. It was just phenomenal. And then as we continued along the march, just more marches, we'd turn a corner and there'd be way another few thousand. And since for the last 2 marches, the police have just left us alone. They haven't even attempted nothing. They've had a few people out watching and stuff, but I mean, they've had officers walking along, chatting to people, no masks on. Very few of the officers are even wearing masks, I've noticed now. So the tide is turning. It's just whether it's turned quick enough. I don't think it has, sadly. And I am still fearful for my daughter's future on Earth, not eternally, but who knows what sort of future our kids are going to have. And like I said, if it was just me and my husband, we'd be off. We'd have just packed a bag and left by now. But as a parent, you have a duty.
You've got to read the that says, Brit Gill, thank you for helping Red Pill people. So she's glad that you've not done one to New Zealand up a mountain. You know what I mean? Even if YouTube you to disappear up that mountain as quickly as possible, I don't think the YouTube community feel that way. You know what I mean? Well, I used to love England. I mean, I grew up here. I had a great childhood, and I try and replicate that for my daughter as much as possible. I don't keep her cooped in the house. She has free range child, as we call it. She's allowed out to play, and like I say, she's homeschooled, and she gets she's still there. There she is.
And but no, it's all for her really. I mean, like I say, a lot of people, the otter in the corner. Sorry, stop it! You're putting me off. But yeah, what's the matter with her, man? Stop it! Just ignore the weirdo in the background. I don't know who she is. I'm trying to sell her. If anyone wants a child, I'm trying to sell her. In fact, I'd pay you to take her.
We're putting you up for sale, don't worry.
No, she's all right. We'll keep her for now, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe when she hits puberty.
As long as you go to bed early, I guess you won't be.
Oh, she does. It's bedtime now, actually. That's why she's hovering around, because she knows it's bedtime. See, do you know a kid like that who actually waits to go to bed? It doesn't have to be told.
Wow.
No.
That is good, because I know what will happen with ours. They'll be up after we're asleep. And they're in the room. You know what I mean?
None of that in my house. No.
Same. I was totally defiant. I learned how to do it without them knowing I was doing it. I was slick. The kids aren't they? You know. But, yeah.
She's good as gold. She's literally good as gold. I tell her, like, ever since she was little, if I tell her not to do something, she doesn't do it. Like, she's just good as gold. She's going to be an absolute arsehole when she's a teenager, because they usually are. They flip. Usually, the better they are as kids, the worse they are as teenagers. It's always the way.
It's coming.
So, yeah. But there she is again. Still here. My jelly bean.
I'll tell you what, it was brilliant to meet you both and the doggy today. So thank you very much for that.
Biggie. All right, go away now. Say goodbye. No. Right. Being on it. Yes, we know you like being on it. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. Go away. Right. Can you bug off? We're trying to say goodbye now. Right. Sorry for the interruption. My child's
one more thing I'm going to do before I go, I'm going to throw in the link to your So if they've not already subscribed and you like what British Girl is saying, then that is the link to a YouTube page there.
Thank you very much. Used to be a lot bigger.
I know. And this is the thing, and it's pretty hard when you do drop off, because unwittingly it doesn't return for very many different reasons. But what you can say is that people still support you, are still there in the background, and we all still do what we do to keep each other in the loop, keep each other on it as well. So you know that this channel is always a further extension to your channel and what you're doing.
I know.
If you ever want to just use this channel to do a stream of your own accord,
you regret saying that.
I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll stay out of it and go, right, Rachel, you're on. Boom, I'm gone. And then
channel gone.
Channel gone. Yeah, that's why I've got this up as a screenshot. That's a screenshot.
Are you trying to foil YouTube's algorithm by having that up? So they think it's already been deleted.
Yes.
Clever that.
It's psychologically weird with some of them. They think.
I think you should have this one as your screen thing. I just think this says it all. This. I'm going to show everyone this. There you go.
Hippopotamus.
Don't be a hippopotamus.
I
think that should just be everyone's slogan.
Well, yeah.
Don't be a hypocrite and a twat.
How many people does that apply to at this moment in time? You know what I mean? When you look around,
I'd say probably about 35%, I reckon, now. I reckon it's the pendulum swinging sort of 65-35 in our favour, I reckon, realistically. Although the media will never show us. I don't meet anybody other than some little old dears that I don't really know. But I'm yet to meet anyone who's actually bothered about this or scared or worried or anything. So maybe I just know a lot of cool people. But it's yeah.
Yeah, he's more relaxed.
Well,
I don't know anyone who's actually scared of it. I know a few people that took the vaccine and it's up to them. They know my view, I know theirs. We don't go anywhere with it. We just leave it as it is. I just hope they don't have anything in their life that makes them regret. I say this, that's all I can really say it for anyone that's done that. Good
well, it's already 10,500 people whose families will have regretted them having it. That's how many have died so far. 452,000 adverse reactions and 10,000 deaths. And that's just the ones that have been reported. They believe that that's probably 10% of the actual figure. So we're looking at close to what, 100,000 people
remember
from the vaccine?
When we were doing the streams and we were talking about this, without saying too much, because I don't want to end up with that black screen, but we were saying, if you're going to report one set of figures, then why are you keeping the other set of figures out? Initially, in the beginning, what's going on there? Initially, in the beginning, it was like the recovery rate. That was never, remember, I don't even look at the world meter.
I know.
It was always on zero. And I was flabbergasted how no one seemed to ever be recovering from this.
I know.
What the hell's going on? It's what people perpetually thinking that there's no way out, you know, and then they just moved along with all the other little psychological tools. But anyway, listen, Brit Girl, I'll let you.
No, this is what we do. We always say goodbye and then we end up chatting for another half hour, don't we?
Yes, doing this. I keep bringing it back in the loop.
Are you coming on the 29th? Are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there in London on the 29th. Yes, I will.
Yes. Evie will be there as well. She's excited to see you.
Excellent. You can come and bomb me stream. Yes.
So, he says you can bomb me stream.
I'll bomb it.
You can bomb it. You can have an interview. You can interview me.
Yeah, look, you can talk to him here.
You can interview me on the day. You can come in on the stream and you can ask me whatever questions you want. How about that?
Yay.
Right then. That's brilliant. As long as it's nothing.
You look a bit like a potato like that, didn't you?
Potato.
Didn't you? Look, a potato.
A potato.
Oh, yes. Forward to the 29th. Are you looking forward to the 29th?
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking?
All my friends are going to be there.
What was that? Sorry, Rachel.
Speak louder.
All my friends are going to be there.
Wow. What are you going to take any signs? Are you going to dress up? Are you going to put any like costumes on or anything like that?
Maybe take unicorn costume.
Yeah. On a scooter.
The unicorn on a scooter. Look out for a unicorn on a scooter. An inflatable unicorn on a scooter.
Well, you know what? I don't see them every day, so I'd love to go down to London and be able to come back and say to the kids, you never guess what? I see a unicorn on a scooter today. And they'll be like, really? I'll be like, really? I said, I know London is a weird place, kids, but I did see that today. So and
it was travelling with a woman in an eye patch.
Yes, kids, it really did happen on the 29th of May.
I swear, I've got it on film.
Like that. What have you been drinking on the way home? What you're on about unicorns and scooters and eye patches? Come on.
Right, you right, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you on the 29th. You take care.
Right, bug off now. Let me say goodbye to Phil. Right.
Okay, bye.
Sorry.
Love it. Love it. Could be a better.
Genevieve! She just did the biggest fart. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Evie, go away now. Stop it. You're just showing off now.
Right.
Can't tell she's my daughter, can you? Sorry.
I think it's lovely. It's charming. That I wouldn't expect.
Not charming when she's farting in your face, Philip.
Well, that bit's not charming. I get that bit. You know. And I'm not guilty of doing that to my wife. Honest, I never do that to the wife. But yeah, one thing I will say. What are you doing this weekend? Before we go, you got any plans?
This weekend, I've got a new business. Follow me on Instagram. It's called Rach and Eve. We started a chocolate business, gourmet chocolate. You'll never have tasted anything like it. So this weekend, hubby is playing golf on Saturday, so I shall be making chocolate, which is going to be stocked in 4 local shops. So I'm quite excited about that. I'm going on to Eastbourne Pier into the candy shop on the Eastbourne Pier, which is very exciting. So that's my new venture, as well as my eye patch business, obviously.
Have you seen that chocolate at the protest?
Can you shush? I'm talking. And then so Saturday that, and then Sunday we're doing a boot fair in the morning because they're back on where we are. We did one last week. I did quite well, cleaned up, nice little profit doing that. And then we are having a barbecue in Abbots Wood with all of our homemade group. There's about 40 or 50 of us. We're going to the woods and we're going to have a barbecue and a party because one of our families is leaving for Panama. They've just bought land in Panama and they live on a catamaran and they are sailing. They set sail next week to live in Panama. They've bought land. It's got no hookups or anything, and you're starting to annoy me now. Yeah, it's just starting to.
Love it.
So they're off to Panama. So we're having a party. What about you?
Well, it's my birthday on Saturday, so I'm going to be going out. Yeah, 51, 50 freaking one. Going out with the wife, a sister, the sister's other half, probably the kids as well. Going to go for a meal, bit of family time. The day just buzzing, not have anything to do with online, just stay away from it really. So yeah, it's going to be a more family, quiet, peaceful orientated weekend, I think.
Lovely. And then the weekend after?
Then we're on it. It's
Revolution.
Right back to achy legs and walking with John Wayne for 4 days. I can't wait.
Oh, it's the hips, isn't it? It's always the hips. Yeah. Oh, the next day, then half hurt. But I mean, the last one wasn't as long. Thankfully, the last one wasn't they cut the route down, so it was only 3.5 hours as opposed to 6.5. This last one, the one before that, where it was easily 1 million people. I mean, it just went on. It was 11.8 miles we walked on the protest before last. And we'll probably be doing that next Saturday. We'll probably do the same route because hopefully there'll be twice as many, so there'll be 2 million this time, and maybe then we'll start actually getting noticed. It's amazing how they won't release the drone footage, isn't it? Because I would love to see what size that crowd was.
There's a couple of drones in Manchester as well, and I guess they're just normal domestic drones, people just throwing them up and getting a couple of minutes footage and then bringing them down again. But I'd have loved to have had that. I've got a drone here. I just don't know how to fly it. And I'm not going to take it in a place where many people with someone who efficiently fly it. It's going to hit someone and I'm liable. I'll just end up dropping the remote or giving it to someone else and walking off. I'm not taking a hit for that.
Yeah, we need someone taking drone footage at these protests.
Do that.
We do. Yeah. That's what we need. That's what we're missing because we know the size of the crowd. But because the media refuse to show it and the police only ever show the sort of drone footage like from maybe like an hour before the march, they won't actually show the actual size of the march because we were from Hyde Park all the way through central London, Trafalgar Square, down through Seven Dials, through the theatre area, Embankment, Waterloo, down through the city, all the way up to Parliament, all the way up the Mall and to Buckingham Palace in a loop. I mean, there were people leaving as we were getting to the end. That's how big this march was. Twice that again. But they will never, ever show that on the media. So we need, if anyone's got a drone or knows someone who's got drone skills, get down the march and get this footage out so that people can see that there is nothing to be scared of. If 1 million of us can all get together and party in the street and there's no spike, then what are you scared of? Literally nothing to be scared of now.
It's the organisation that we see that's slightly lacking, and I'm not criticising anyone because anyone who organises a march, I know what work you've got. I know what work it is doing a YouTube page. So organising something like that is, but you can see deficiencies where it could, with all of them, in terms of the actual direction of where you're going, marshalling in between. So you need probably several points of one person or 4 people that have got a vis vest on that are at different points that are keeping on walkie-talkie communication, keeping it
We
all.
don't need that in London. We'd literally just take over.
No, I'm just saying, in terms of kind of making it a bit more professional and the.
It's all done on Telegram. There's the groups on Telegram that coordinate it all.
But what you get within marches, you'll get people that are probably 10 minutes down who haven't got an effing clue where anyone's going and what we're doing. They're just following. And that's not a bad thing. They're just saying the professionality, the media.
But they,
the
reason they don't advertise the march route, and they never do. It's only ever the organisers of the different groups who know, because they don't want obviously Antifa, BLM, or anti-protesters. So that's why the route isn't advertised, and it's for that reason, really. But then saying that, the size of it now, I mean, you can't miss it. You get off at any major Zone 1 station and you will find our march, because we just literally, you can't imagine it unless you're there. You were there, Phil. We took over London there. It was just phenomenal. There is no way you could get off at any major Zone 1 station and not know where we are. Because you can just hear it. I mean, even if there's a quiet moment, there's always an eruption of cheers and music, and every couple of 30 seconds or so, as someone does something or someone has a banner or so. It's there's no way you can miss us at all. So just get, if like, there's nothing to be scared of. I have people like, oh, I'm a bit worried about coming on my own. You've never got anything to be worried about at these marches, ever. Young, old, man, woman, gay, straight, black, white, gay, don't matter. Whatever you are, everyone is welcome. We are the peaceful. We are the ones who will make a difference if we unify, and that's the only way we're going to do it, is unifying. So
the aspect. Even with, I mean, someone mentioned about drones there. It is right. It's not legal to have drones in a public area, but people are doing it in a cheeky way. Drones only stay airborne for a couple of minutes anyway, and I'm noticing it in most of the marches that people are just throwing them up, getting 5 minutes of footage and dropping them back down again. If you do it like that, I think you do get away with it. And unless, I don't think any policeman is ultimately going to go, right, I see him with a drone, let's directly arrest him. If he sees you using it in an irresponsible...
There's no police there anyway.
I'm not saying to anyone, you know, do it, use whatever you do, you do your own back. You are. But
I am.
The media side of it, we know that the media are not really talking about it. They're hiding it. They try to downplay the numbers, up the arrest, and try to make the arrest justifiable for the people that are there. So it's all them psychological tricks. You've got YouTube with a mass of people. It's a pity that we've not got our shit together, pardon the French, in terms of organising. Having a central body of 10 YouTubers, one from each city. Each city has its own little organisation, its own little marches going. Each city then records it. Each city then distributes it to each of them 10 other cities that then distribute it on a main hub platform. You see what I mean?
I think that's kind of what Save Our Rights are doing. Like, have you seen they Save Our Rights UK? There's a few. I think they were the main organisers for the last one. But the thing is that the beauty of our side is we cannot be herded like the mindless worker bee hive-minded drones. That's the beauty of our movement, is we are all individuals. So as much as it would be great to be able to be like the idiots who are drone hive-minded, we're not. We're all free thinkers. And that's the beauty. It's both the blessing and the curse of our side, because we'll do what we want. So if we want to join a organised march, we will. If we want to walk our own path, we will. It's just how we are, and it's how everyone should be. And it's, like I said, it's the blessing and the curse of being a free thinker. Is you'll do what you want at the end of the day. So, which I actually like.
You know, that's the main premise. It's almost like a libertarian, the true definition. No curtailment of thought or action. But you have an element of decency with people, patience and tolerance, and as long as you adhere to all them, we can all do what the fuck we want and not really bother anyone anyway, because you're not going to be angry because you're not that way inclined. You're not bothered what he does because he's not doing anything that's making you feel angry. It's like, man, that concept's so easy. Why are we? You can't even walk up the street without seeing someone who don't get it. It's like, it's crazy. But this is where I think, same again, all we're doing is creating a community where we're all like-minded and think, you know what, I'm sick of all this division. I'm sick of all this narrative building. I just want to go somewhere. I just want to go to this march. I just want to listen to this stream or listen to this person. And I think, if anything, we're creating that for people. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Thank you very much.
For as long as we can, anyway.
Yes. So I'll see you the 29th. I'll speak to you before, no doubt.
Yeah, I'll speak to you before then, but I'll definitely see you on the 29th. It's going to be huge.
It will be indeed. And
like I said, even if you don't believe in protest, just come for the positivity. Just come to recharge your batteries. Come for the energy, because you will never feel more invigorated than after being at one of these marches. Yeah. It is like rejuvenation. I go there and I feel rejuvenated. I feel re-energized.
It's like you go in and plugging your phone in a battery charge. You do feel alive. Something energizes. And when it's positive, there's no better feeling. You don't want any negativity, whether it be on your side or the police, because that does change the atmosphere, and it's palpable when that happens. But man, when like the last one, and in Manchester as well, when it's vibing high. You don't want to go home. You know what I mean? It's literally one of them. You want to stay around these people. So yeah, long live. Can't wait. Look forward to seeing you. Good luck to your family, and good luck with your weekend as well. Have a good one.
And you, happy birthday. You kept that quiet. Cheeky thing.
I know, I've got it, when I... Some life after me, Rachel. If I fucking
you're 60 now.
Right, whatever. You know what? YouTube's not doing it, but I'm going to do it. Right? I'm going to do it. And I'm sorry. Your daughter's going to have to see this. I'm now expelling your lovely mother from YouTube. I'm sorry I have to do.
She can't hear
you. I'm removing your mother for violating my YouTube policies.
Silly. Don't remove my mummy.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, listen, Rick, it's been a pleasure. You look after me.
I'm a potato.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
See you later.
See you.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Well, aren't they brilliant? Aren't they brilliant? Really love that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone coming in and listening to this stream. We do have a good connection, Britt Gill and I, as with other people on here. There's loads of, it's like a big family. Everyone I get here. There's not anyone I don't really disagree with wholeheartedly. But even if we do, we still do it in a way where we're still mates. God damn it. Disagree on things, not always see eye to eye on things, but still, what you do focus on is what you do agree on. Shared goddamn truths. So thank you very much, guys. Mutuous respect. I'll try and be back in the next day or so, but I can't guarantee it. Birthday's looming. I did promise Katie was going to do a stream with her, though, so we'll have to see how that one pans out. But you take care. If we don't speak over the weekend, have a great one. You're going to an event, be safe. Hope it all ends well and positive, and I'll be in touch over the next few days. See you later. Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.